What's up guys, it's AJ here. In Bedwars, there are many different maps. Some are good, others not so much. Today, I ranked them all using a tier list. You may be asking, what's a tier list? A tier list is a system where you can rank anything, with S being the best tier and F being the worst, as well as other ranks in between. Before we continue, I'd like to say that I still am a small YouTuber, and I put a lot of effort into making my videos, so I would really appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe. But now, let's get into the video. Alright, so we are in the tier list. So it looks like we have the maps Airshow, Amazon, Crypt, Dragonstar, Glacier, Hollow, Lighthouse, Lotus, Orchestra, Pernicious, Playground, Rooftop, Speedway, Steampunk, and Waterfall. So I'm gonna start off with Airshow. So Airshow is a pretty B tier map because it's alright if you beat your first rush. If you die once on your first rush, you're pretty much dead. So that's why I put it at B. Let's go to Amazon now. Amazon, I'm gonna give that a solid A tier because it's pretty good for rushing. The rushes are pretty fast. The generator could be a little bit faster, but it's actually a pretty solid map. So this is Crypt, I think. I can't really tell because these images are kind of small, but I'm gonna give Crypt a B tier. It's alright. The rushes aren't really that good. It's a 32 rush map, but it's a diagonal 32 rush map, so that's not really that good. But let's move on to Dragonstar. Dragonstar, that's another A tier map. I like it a lot. After you beat your first rush, which is already gonna be pretty easy considering it's a rush through diamonds map, and you can easily, use the diamond generator as a flat area to fight your opponent. It's pretty smooth sailing from there, and the middle is pretty isolated, so if you lose your bed and you're trying to collect emeralds to clutch the game, it's actually gonna be pretty nice considering your opponent will have to purposefully try to bridge to you. So that's why I put it at A tier. Glacier, that's another A tier map. It's a pretty fast rush. I'm not sure if it's 32 or 48. I usually just get a stack of blocks and then rush. I never rush 32 because that's pretty dangerous. But I'm gonna give that a solid A tier because of the same reasons as Dragonstar. It's pretty nice to rush. You can block off your opponents inside of their base. And once again, if you go to middle, it's pretty isolated from the rest of the bases. You're gonna have a little bit of alone time to get some emeralds and then clutch the game. Let's move on to Hollow. Hollow, another A tier map. I really like it. It's a very, very fast map considering it's a 32 rush as well as a fast generator. And that's pretty much all I have to say. There's nothing really special, but the diamond generators, that's the only critique that I have. They're kind of far away from your base, so if you lose your bed on your first rush, it's kind of gonna be hard to bridge to diamonds without your opponent also bridging to diamonds from their base and potentially being able to kill you. And now let's move on to Lighthouse. Lighthouse, it's an S tier map, no doubt about it. It's amazing. They also made it a fast gen map, so the rushes are gonna be super fast, and it's very good for speed running and stuff. I'm not a speed runner, but it's pretty good for speed runners, and that's all I have to say about it. Lotus, I don't really like it because it's kind of hard to rush since you have to either finagle your way around the right side of the base or wherever the little tree, whatever it's called, is, or go all the way to the top of your base, which takes way too long. Let's move on to Orchestra now. That is an S tier map. I feel like it's very underrated because you can get 32 blocks, place a bed defense, And you can still rush without grabbing more blocks. Like, you can go to your opponent's base with only 24 blocks, but I don't recommend using only 24 blocks because that means that your opponent could easily bridge on top of you and then jump down on you and kill you. But now let's move on to Pernicious, another S tier map. Like, I love it so much. It's a very fast map, and middle is pretty easy to access from diamonds because you can actually fireball jump from middle to diamonds or diamonds to middle, and that's gonna make it really easy for people when you lose your bed, especially because it's a fast generating map and you can get fireballs pretty quickly. Playground, I'm gonna have to give that a C tier because it's listed as a 16 rush map, but it's actually not. Rooftop, A tier map. The only reason why I wouldn't give it an S tier is because you have to bridge up and down a lot. You have to bridge up and take a lot of fall damage and stuff. Speedway, another A tier map. The only problem I have with it is that middle is very, very easily accessible with like a very small amount of blocks. After you take out your first rush, you can easily rush other people and also get rushed because it doesn't really require that many blocks. But I mean, I guess it's pretty good for people who like to play fast games. And let's move on to Steampunk. Steampunk, I'm sorry, but that is a terrible map. The generator is way too slow and it's hard to get to your opponent's base. Middle, like, what even is middle? It's like a mess of pipes that you have to go through to get to middle. I don't get how you move around middle. You have to take a lot of fall damage. You can't quickly go around middle. You're definitely gonna get chased and you're probably gonna get caught up to and killed. Finally, Waterfall. Waterfall is not really that good, so I'm gonna put it at C tier because it's kind of hard to get to middle. The rushes aren't really that fast. They're kind of slow because it's a slow gen map. But I mean, it's an alright map, but I would definitely prefer Lighthouse, Orchestra, or Pernicious over any of these maps.